I'm good. Really good.
What were your expectations coming into this night? Did you have any idea where you might be selected? Did you have any inclination?
I mean, I've heard from GMs, coaches, and everything. They try to keep it low key, but I mean, I figured I was somewhere in the range of 20 to 40. So, I was really excited to get that call at 28 with the Saints. Just crazy organization, but yeah, I mean, I had expectations to go 20 to 40. So, yeah.
Next question's from Luke Johnson with the Advocate.
Hey, Payton, congrats, man. And I'm just curious, growing up in the Houston area, you have any connections with New Orleans or anything like that?
I mean, obviously, there's a bunch of people from New Orleans here in Houston. So, I mean, growing up, I knew a bunch of guys from New Orleans, Louisiana. Playing in at U of H. I'm always in contact with people from Louisiana. But just like me personally, not really. But I mean, I watched them growing up. You watch football, you're going to be a fan of the Saints.
Next question is from Nick Underhill with New Orleans Football.
Yeah, I know you're kind of new to the position, just 2 years since you switched from DT to defensive end. Just how much did that help in your growth as a player, and how much more room do you feel like you have for growth as a defensive end?
I mean, I think I have a lot of room to grow, and that's the only way I can go, especially with where I'm going at the Saints. I got good guys in front of me to learn from, good guys around me to learn from, good coaches and everything. So, I played D tackle. I think it really helped me just being more physical on the edge when I did transition to the edge. And obviously, there was things I needed to learn. There was a learning curve going from my junior to senior season. I think I improved a lot, and then I kind of showed what I could do in my senior season in this past year, 2020. Even though there's a couple bumps in the road, but I think I showed a glimpse of what I can do with one off-season learning position.
Next question is from Amy Just with the Advocate.
Yeah, back to the phone call. What was that like? Just take us through that moment.
It was crazy. I can't even describe it now. Ecstatic, just relief. It's a dream come true. It doesn't really happen to too many people very often that that their dream comes true. And then just for me to have my dream come true like that, it's just really special for me. I'm on cloud nine. I can't put it any other way besides that.
Do you remember who you talked to?
Yeah, I believe it was the area scout. And I talked to Coach Payton and then the GM, but and the D-line coach. I talked about everybody. My head's spinning though. It's just crazy experience. I'm just enjoying it.
Next question is for Brett Martell with the Associated Press.
Hey, Payton, congrats. Just with the 5 games last year, did that come up at all that it was a relatively small sample size, or did you feel really good about the fact that you had relatively good statistics for such a few amount of games? And can you just talk about what went into, I guess, did you have I think I read you had a positive COVID test that I don't know if that kept you out of some games too, or what were all the things that kept you out?
Yeah, so I missed one because of a calf strain, a high calf strain. That was my Cincinnati game. I had that in UCF, and then I got pulled for contact tracing for COVID in the hotel before my South Florida game. So, and then I popped positive for it that next Monday. So I was out for those two games, and I came back from Memphis for just situational. So really, I played about 3.5 games. If we're looking at snaps wise, I played 10 maybe in Memphis, but those are the reasons I was out. But I mean, everything's gonna come up. These guys, it's the NFL. They're gonna search for everything. They want answers for everything. So sample size came up, but I was confident in everything that I put on film. Everything that I showed, and I went and confirmed that at Pro Day. So I was confident in my abilities and what I did do on film.
Doug Mouton, WWL TV.
Yeah, hey, Peyton, how much contact have you had with the Saints in the last 5 months? And did you realize that they were on you, that this might be one of your spots?
Yeah, the Saints have talked to me a handful of times. I wouldn't say that they talked to me the most. So, not that I was surprised when they called, but I was happy to say the least. But they weren't I didn't know if I had to put a top 3 together, top 5 together, that was going to pick me in the first round. I wasn't putting the Saints in it, but I mean, I'm excited that they did pick me. I wanted to play for the Saints. They got a lot of guys that are similar to me, but I mean, I was shocked, but excited, surprised more so than shocked. But I mean, I'm just happy to be here in this position I am.
Joseph Duarte, Houston Chronicle.
Hey, Payton, congratulations.
Appreciate you.
Hey, earlier in the week, you tweeted that you thought that the next few days were going to be really long in terms of waiting. Earlier today, it started to kind of get out you may work into the first round. Did you start to get some feeling there from your agent or anything as you were watching, as you got into the 20s, tonight?
Yeah, like I said, I expected to go 20 to 40. So, when 20 came up, my heart was beating a little bit faster, and just as we went on through the draft, just throughout the night, I was getting a little bit more excited, more anxious, just for my moment. And the Saints didn't upset me, so they called me. I'm just super excited, but yeah, I knew once 20 came up, I was in that range. So I don't know, man. I'm just thrilled.
Luke Johnson, the Advocate.
Hey, Peyton, forgive me if I mess any of these details up, but if I understand correctly, you had an ACL injury in high school, and that kind of derailed everything, with your recruitment.
Right.
So how if you're looking back on that now, you kind of went through that kind of tough stretch there. How validating is this, to end up still being a first round draft pick and all that?
Extremely, I would say validating, because I wasn't really having to prove anything to anybody else, more so to myself, to prove myself right in this situation. So, I'm extremely happy, if that's the question. I'm extremely happy with the way everything turned out. Of course, there's going to be bumps in the road, but that just builds character. So, things I went through, that I experienced throughout my recruiting process, that was just part of the journey, to get me to this point that I'm at. So, wouldn't really change much. Wouldn't really change anything that's happened to me in my lifetime.
Rod Walker, the Times-Picayune.
Hey, Payton, you mentioned that you were similar to a lot of guys on the Saints, but how much have you watched Cam Jordan, and what do you just kind of think about his play?
Versatility is the first thing that comes to mind when I watch Cam Jordan. I've watched, he's one of the guys that I do watch. My coach, I got a pretty good coach here at Houston, and Coach Brian Early. So he puts film together. He makes comparisons. He makes his own comparisons, and just gives us tips on guys to watch. But Cam Jordan, he can do it all. He can rush on the edge. He can apply pressure up the middle. He's got good hips. He's got good feet. He's got good hands. So just to be able to be around him and everything that he's experienced, I think that's pretty invaluable for me. So I'm excited to get over there and know and just see what's happening.
Who do you compare yourself to? Is there somebody you'd compare yourself to?
I think I fit in that same category as the Saints defensive ends. Bigger DNs. Obviously, they have more experience and everything. But I'm a big athlete. I'm a big DN that can bend and rush the passer. So I would compare myself to Cam Jordan, Marcus Davenport, to guys like that. Just longer, bigger DNs that can be physical but are also versatile.
Amy Just, the Advocate.
Yeah, that leads right into my question. For people who don't know you and haven't watched you, how would you describe yourself as a player and as a person?
I'd say the first thing as a player, I'm going to be violent on the edge. I'm going to set the edge. I'm going to get out the quarterback, wherever it is, whether I'm lined up in a 3-tech or I'm lined up on a defensive end or in a 9 technique. So, I'd say violent and relentless is the way I play. Every time I'm out on that field, I'm going to give everything I got. And as far as a person, I'm going to be a leader. I'm going to be a high character dude. It's coming in the building, same dude every day. That's the mentality. That's the way you got to go about it. That's the way I go about my work. So that's the kind of dude I am. I'm just ready to play. I'm ready to get NOLA and play.
Last question for Nick Underhill, New Orleans Football.
How are you able to use your length to your advantage?
What was that? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
How does your length help your game, and how do you use that to your advantage?
In the run game, it's definitely a pretty supreme advantage. I think just to be able to keep blockers off you, those tackles, and just disengage and make a play 2 gaps. Whether you're playing on the outside on the defensive end, setting the edge, and then coming up under in the B gap and making a play, or getting off the rock and setting the edge, keeping the blocker off you, getting vision on the quarterback or the ball. So in that sense, it's really the advantage that you want, especially from an edge defender. And then in the pass game, there's so many things you can work with your length. That's why it's so coded and so important. That's why you hear them talking about tackles having length is so important, just because defensive ends are such long athletes, and being able to play on the edge and keep the blockers' hands off me. I think those are pretty essential for an edge defender. So, I'm glad I got those traits.
Payton, congratulations again. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Who dat, baby?